Welcome to Afterthoughts with Erica. My name is Erica O'Meara, and as I begin my journey to becoming an end-of-life doula, I'm challenging myself to talk to 100 people about death, dying, and what comes next. Join me as we explore these stories and work together to make the topic of death less uncomfortable, one conversation at a time. Afterthoughts with Erica is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. The opinions expressed are solely of the speakers and do not represent legal, medical, or financial advice. This series does not supersede any written last will and testament, legal documents, or directives. Please note that this series may contain adult subject matter and with strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. Trigger warning: the following episode discusses suicide. Please take care while watching. Welcome back to Afterthoughts with Erica. My name is Erica, and today I am joined by my dear friend Kat. We go way back to our CrossFit days. She's a mother of 4, a Mimi of 1, and she's living with metastatic breast cancer. I really want to thank you so much, Kat, for coming on today. I super duper appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Now, you said you're going into this cold. You didn't read the question, so this is going to be fun.
I'm sorry.
No, there's no apology at all. Everybody has their process. So this is a good one. The first question is sort of like the doozy. Are you afraid of dying?
So the short answer is no. The long answer is I've had a lot of time to live facing my mortality, living with metastatic breast cancer. And I think when I was first diagnosed, I was very afraid of dying. When you hear the word stage 4 incurable, it's hard not to be. But as the years have gone on since that diagnosis, I'm in my 4th year of metastatic. I have learned that although I know that my mortality is just like hanging in front of my face, I'm no longer afraid to die. I feel like it will come when it comes, and I'm as ready as anybody can be.
That's fair. And I did forget to add in your bio introduction that you're a badass. So,
Thank you.
is there a death in your past that shaped the way that you view death and dying?
I would say for a very long time, yes, absolutely. Interesting question. Uh, when I was very young, I couldn't even tell you how old I was, to be honest, because of the type of life that I've lived. But when I was very young, probably around the age of 12-ish, I had a best friend who took his own life. And I was the person that he came and said goodbye to. And he bequeathed me a bunch of his belongings to give to various people and also things he wanted me to keep. And it was a really traumatic experience. And of course, I did try and talk him out of it. I tried to stop him. But when he left that day, I knew that that's what was happening eventually. And he did take his own life. And for a very, very long time, I think I thought all death was tragic because of how I experienced that so close. And it was traumatic and awful. And I didn't really have a support system at the time in my life that helped me through that. So it shaped me to just think that all death was traumatic and tragic. And I no longer think that that's true. I don't even think that my own death will be tragic. I think that I've lived a long, eventful life. And although it won't be as long as many people, I think that my life has had meaning for me and for my kids, and quite possibly some other people who have come to be a part of my life. And sometimes life is just that way, but it doesn't mean it has to be tragic.
Yeah, and I'm super thankful that you were able to overcome that um that way of looking, that viewpoint of death. But obviously, that would be an effect of that kind of traumatic event in your life.
Hmm.
Absolutely. That is incredibly sad. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. It's a long time ago, but I still think of him often.
I'm certain you do. That'll stick with you for life. Absolutely. Do you believe in the afterlife?
Loaded question. So I don't consider myself religious. I consider myself spiritual. I believe that in certain circumstances, a soul can live on. I believe reincarnation is a real thing, but it doesn't happen to everybody and it doesn't happen every time. I think that my soul has lived more than one life, and I think this is my last life. Uh, I can't really explain that way other than saying that it's just a feeling that I have and something that I've come to through my own spiritual practices that have led me to feel that I've lived many lives and this is my last life. So I don't believe in heaven in the traditional sense of the word, if that's what you mean. But I think that to each their own. I don't have anything negative to say about people who do. I think that you are entitled to your own beliefs and certainly ones that give you peace. And I think for many people, that's what the idea of heaven does. I just don't feel that way about it for myself.
Totally. I agree with that. Um, I feel that as long as a belief, makes you feel good or safe or comforted, that it's okay.
Hmm.
I don't have to agree with it. It's
Yep,
okay.
absolutely.
It fulfills something for you, and that's what's important.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
If you could have an ideal death, what would that look like?
So I've actually thought about this a lot, even though I didn't read the questions in advance. Sorry about that again. Um, but because I'm living with metastatic breast cancer, and over the last 4 years, I have become very close to and friends with a great many of women who are living and who have also died with the same disease that I have. Um, we all have different subtypes and whatnot, but still, I've had to watch. And through that, I have come to the conclusion that I know what I want my death to be like, and I do have a death plan. Um, which I know for a lot of people sounds crazy, but um, when you're living with your mortality hanging 12 inches in front of your face, it's not that crazy. Um, And I do think there is an ideal death. And for me, it is, I won't go into the details of it, but for me, it's to not suffer. So when the time comes that I no longer have a quality of life that allows me and affords me the opportunity to enjoy my existence, my family, my friends, um, then I want to just go peacefully. I don't want to lay in a hospital bed for a month just hanging on. Um, I just want to go to sleep and not wake up. And I would prefer to do it either in my own bed or on a beach chair on some white sandy beach would be great. If, financially that's in the work in the cards. Don't be surprised if you hear me saying, take me to the beach. um, and if that's not in the cards, then I'd like to be in my own bed. But I'd like to just go to sleep and not wake up. And I think that that is the most ideal way, honestly.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
a lot of people would agree with you. And it's awesome that you have a plan. Even when we're not facing a terminal diagnosis, we should have a plan because we don't know. Nobody knows when the
Hmm.
last day is going to be. So, what a wonderful thing to have a plan set in place so that everybody knows, everything falls into place and there's no surprises.
Yeah. And that is what I hope will happen for me.
Me too.
So,
So this is a little bit more of a fun one.
Okay.
If you could take something with you in death, what would it be?
Oh. Hmm. uh, I mean, I want to say, like, my first thought is like, oh, my family, but I'm like, no, actually, no, I don't want them to die. So,
You would be surprised how many people say that off the cuff.
and then I'm like, oh, wait, no, that's not what I want. I do not want to cut their lives short. So, I think if I was going to take something with me, it would probably be like a playlist of my favorite music on repeat. Because I am one of those mildly crazy people who will listen to her same favorite 100 songs over and over and over. It makes me happy and it gives me peace and joy. So hopefully that's playing when I go. And if I could take it with me, I wouldn't be mad about it.
Well, I agree with that. I am the same way, and I love that. So, um, how do you want your funeral to go?
Oh, I do not want a funeral.
Tell me more.
I actually already set in stone. I have a living will. There will be no funeral for my death. I just don't believe in them. I think that it is an expense that is horrendous. And I also think it's a lot of ceremony that I don't really subscribe to. So for me, I wish to be cremated and I intend to be turned into stones. I know that sounds super strange, but it's a thing. They're like little garden stones that, you could fit a handful of them in the palm of your hand. And depending on how much I weigh when I die will depend on how many stones I make. And then I want my family and friends to be able to, so there, I do have it said that I would like there to be a family taco night. And in my world, family taco night isn't always just family, because a lot of my family is people who have become my family over the years of my life. I have a lot more chosen family than I do blood family. And um, so my family and friends, I guess, is probably more appropriate. But tacos are my favorite. Taco night, homemade taco night is standard in our world. And I hope that once I'm cremated and my stones are made, that my family will come together and eat tacos and drink margaritas, and everybody will just have an enjoyable time. And then at the end, there will be a big pile of stones, and everyone can take a couple. And my hope is that the people who love me will scatter these stones across the earth. I don't want you to hold on to it. I don't want you to memorialize it on a mantle. I want you to drop it off on your next vacation, whether that be in the ocean or on a mountaintop or, on some train in East Tennessee. I don't care where. When you go somewhere and you're finding joy, drop me off and leave it there. Because again, it'll just be my body. And hopefully it'll be one last chance for my body to get to do some things that I never got to in life.
Absolutely. I think
So
we're
that's the
soul
plan.
sisters with that choice. That's something I've also talked to my children about, being turned into stones. And my 21-year-old said, I'm going to skip you across a lake. And I said, yes, that's what I want you to do. Skip me across every lake you go to,
Yes, I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, when I discovered it, I knew right away that it was for me. Um, like it just speaks to me, and it feels like me.
And
Feels like a very cat thing.
that's what's most important.
So
Absolutely. So back to the playlist. I'm surprised you didn't read the questions because that's one of the questions. What would be some of the songs on your playlist?
some of the songs on my playlist. Everything from Ani DeFranco to the Grateful Dead to Liz Longley, and a whole lot in between. But I've always said my whole life that my playlist is either that of somebody who is batshit crazy or possibly a crackhead, because the variety is wide, very, very wide.
That's wonderful. I think it is important to have a little bit of mixture in there because maybe like some songs speak to some people and other songs speak to other people. So it'll bring everybody in.
Yes. And anybody that knows me knows that it goes a very, very wide spectrum.
So the next question um, was, what do you want done with your body after you die? But we already know you want to be turned into stones. And
Yes.
I think that that's an awesome option. I feel like it's really coming into the mainstream now. All these different kinds of after death options. And I think stones are a great choice. And I think that's very you too.
Thank you. I love the idea. I've set on it. I mean, I even changed my will to,
Perfect. Then there's no question.
yeah.
So the next question, another fun one. If you could haunt somebody after death, and it could be naughty or nice, who would it
Mm.
be?
Oh, who's gonna watch these? Hmm.
Mm.
I think I actually did read the questions. I just don't remember them because I read them like right when I said I would do it. And my memory is so poor because I vaguely remember. Okay. So I think honestly, in all reality, if I was gonna haunt, I would want it to be nice, and I wouldn't mind being able to take a peek down and see my children at various phases of their life. I wouldn't mind being able to take a glance at my granddaughter on her sweet 16, or the first time she gets dressed up for a dance. Because those are things that I don't expect to be around for. Um, but I definitely, as tempting as it may be, I think I'd rather let my soul rest than have it be participating in anything nefarious after the fact. I think I've had enough of that in life, in many lives probably, and I'd just like to take a peek at the people I love,
Totally understandable.
like a globe where I can just say, like, show me.
Oh, wouldn't that be
Wouldn't that be
nice?
great?
That would be amazing. So we're down to our last question, and this one is a little bit more serious, but what do you want people to remember you for after you pass?
Hmm. I hope that people remember that, because I'm certainly not perfect, and I don't claim to be. So I hope that people can remember me for the good things about me. Remember that I loved hard, that I was a loyal friend, um, that although I'm not a perfect mother, I love my children more than life itself, and am always in their corner, no matter what. Um, I hope that my sisters remember to breathe and to be happy in spite of me being gone. And I hope that I'm just remembered for all of the joy and the good things and not any of the bad, because I'm not perfect. Nobody is. But, if you look hard enough and rub hard enough, you can find a few skeletons in my closet. And I hope that people will just let those things rest and remember me for the good things. Remember that I had a big heart and I loved hard and that I always meant well.
That
Might not have always turned out that way though.
I think that that's a wonderful thing to be remembered for is that you always meant well. You always had a good heart and good intentions. And I think that's a wonderful thing to be remembered for.
I think that's all that really matters at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
At least for me.
I wish we were doing this in person so I could give you a big hug. I want to give you a
Oh,
big
me
hug.
too. Me too. I love that you're doing this. I think it's super brave. And honestly, I think it's something that, like people don't like to talk about death. A lot of people are very afraid of it. And um, certainly, I think that the journey to want to help people in their death is super awesome. And I think it takes a special kind of person to even be willing to explore that. So,
Well, I hope I live up to the challenge. This is, the first step. It's just getting people to talk.
Yeah, I get it. But I think if anybody can, it's you.
You're a sweetheart.
I believe it. I'm telling you.
Oh, girl. Well, I'm sending you love and hugs, and thank you so much for this again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Love and light to you as well.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Trigger warning, this episode features talks of suicide. Please take care while listening. To be part of this important conversation. Let's continue breaking the silence together. See you next time.